Certainly. Here's a rewritten version of the content. Come away with me, my child, to a serene sanctuary where we can embrace solitude together. In the tranquil stillness, I will impart wisdom and fortitude into your soul. Set aside momentarily the ceaseless demands that vie for your attention, fragmenting your focus. Instead, enter purposefully into a Sabbath rest for both body and spirit, allowing them to rejuvenate and gain perspective away from the clamor of busyness. Silence serves as a fertile ground, akin to a dormant seed in winter harboring the promise of abundant new life when seasons shift. I designed humanity to embrace cycles of withdrawal and engaged activity, each finding harmony within me. Just as I exemplified this rhythm by resting after the monumental exertion of creation, establishing a pattern of renewal that replenishes the soul, so too should you honor your need for respite from the relentless demands of life. Wholeheartedly embrace the gentle yoke that renews your soul day by sanctified day. In these quiet moments, souls can commune with me beyond the clamor of worldly demands that often overshadow consciousness. My spirit whispers softly, necessitating unhurried space to make lasting impressions. As the noise dissipates, calm assurance emerges, anchoring you securely in my design for human wholeness. Reject the world's clamor for meaningless productivity and embrace instead the cyclical patterns that sustain true vitality. Just as ecosystems thrive by honoring natural cycles, so too do my people flourish by balancing labor with restorative rest. Consider the dependable rhythms of day and night in creation, the ebb and flow of the ocean, and the rhythmic inhalation and exhalation of breath. In the same manner, let cycles of silence and speech complement one another, seamlessly transitioning between moments of quiet reflection and purposeful action. Remember, when burdens weigh heavy upon you, I crafted humanity for joyful retreat into the effortless enjoyment of my presence. Rediscover childlike wonder and delight, casting aside the weight of grown-up worries in the embrace of eternity's light. A resilient life integrates rest as a vital component without succumbing to false guilt. True wholeness acknowledges your integrated self, beyond merely being a cog in the machinery of productivity. Learn to walk in my loving ways through patient seasons, cherishing simple moments of familial connection around the table. Meals consider two creation-reliable seasonal rhythms. Vivid autumn colors, signaling necessary winter rest ahead when all grows still. Observe busy creatures conserving through barren months, rather than vainly struggling on sea leaves. Releasing their hold after boldly transforming sunlight into nourishment, here you glimpse the timely cycles of work and rest that honor limits around finite strengths. Take your rightful place, then child, within. These rhythms of withdrawal and vigor that sustain you in purpose. And remember your weekly day of common rest from commerce and labor. Make this Sabbath holy, dedicating its hours solely to spiritual pursuits and loving community for a full day. Step outside frenzied gaining that easily displaces eternal priorities through steadfast habit. Reconnect to greater reality, grounded in worship, gratitude, and caring. Fellowship, reclaim this radical routine that regularly reorients you to my kingdom-shared hopes. Beyond self-refuse compromise, here assert the precedent of your whole being above profits for a day in this sacred rhythm. Find perspective and vision refreshed for the challenges ahead, beloved, each day. I call you to resist the subtle tide of busyness that threatens to pull you under the demands of this world. Cry loudly, pressing you to conform. Yet you must set boundaries against that which erodes the soul, for no matter how good the tasks, nothing rivals the supreme commands to love me first, and then to love your neighbor. Come away into the quiet with me and regain. Focus within my kingdom from the stillness before my throne. Discern with care what truly matters for eternity, and what does not. Let holiness and wisdom guide your perspective, not the hurried pace of culture. I have called you to walk the narrow way that leads to life in steady balance. Choose only that which aligns with my purposes written on your heart. Refuse anything that compromises my kingdom values already placed within you. Here, in this quiet space with me, I anchor your soul anew each day, and order your steps into grace and truth. Listen for my voice to show you the way, my beloved, when voices of anxiety and adversity threaten to overwhelm your spirit. Come first to me in prayer. Bring your heavy concerns openly, that I may meet you there in my presence. Possibilities and power multiply to address tangible dilemmas as you release strained problem-solving into my hands. Rest in the stillness of trusting me to bring transformation overnight to unresolved tensions. I renew your strength and perspective with the fresh mercy of each new morning. Do not imagine self above limitations requiring retreat into my quiet refuge for direction. Even the most devoted burnout without integrating wisdom cycles of work and rest. Aim not for perfection but excellence through balance. Feverish ambition often masks pride or love of human praise, which I oppose. Maintain humility around personal weakness, with confidence in my full provision for all you need to fulfill each calling. Weave retreat into advance to complete the journeys I design in set-apart spaces of sacred quiet. Your inner strength continually renews, so set firm boundaries around overloading your senses and psyche. Refuse addiction to constant news and noise, allowing healthy detachment outside your control. Give full presence to loved ones before you. Now instead, the only sure possession in time's fleeting stream, offer the first and best of your moments to stillness with me here. Souls find anchoring perspective when other voices confuse and distract from this place of wisdom. Graciously tend to all else calling your name. Protect sacred spaces of family and home from intrusions that steal serenity. Set aside that which divides attention to linger long together. Deal efficiently with disruptions to defend special hours, as wholly certain priorities deserve full engagement, not fractured awareness spread thin over empty virtual realms. Honor relational needs through respectful scheduling and listening that seeks understanding. You cannot satisfy every concern arising so wisely. Unplug at times to care deeply for those before you. Now tomorrow you serve others. I bring across your path today. Refuse to let distant diversions dominate, lavishing love through the gift of presence. These boundaries manifest wisdom, not selfishness. I lovingly crafted you for rhythms of engagement and withdrawal that nurture whole health. I gently correct when you veer toward unhealthy extremes, wishing to spare you. Long sorrows if ignored. Realign with my original design by assessing your current ratios of talking versus listening. Distraction versus presence, stimulation versus calm work versus rest. What proportions feed your soul and produce good fruit versus quickly depleting you. Consult to the council of trusted companions I have placed around you in both noise and stillness. I meet you as love, sharing more of myself if you'll listen, beneath duty's driving. Demands my best success and purpose for you. Transcend empty pursuits of wealth, fame, or legacy built by human effort alone. Soul prosperity flows from simple faithfulness to walk with my spirit. Day by ordinary day, purpose is fulfilled through small acts of service that bless others for eternity. This definition entrusts outcomes to my grace at work, behind the scenes. Set apart, regular space to commune with me in solitude. Nourishing roots that now bear public fruit for my glory. Your activities demonstrate devotion already proved, not performances attempting to earn belonging. Rest completely in my unconditional delight over you, my child. Wisdom integrates busy work with tranquil rest. Avoid polarizing views that idolize one while demonizing the other. Honor healthy boundaries that ensure soul care. Employ tools strategically without becoming enslaved to convenience. That demands utter availability, erasing sacred lines around true rest and intimacy with others. Highly prized quietude for gaining perspective and sensitivity to my gentle guidance. Cultivate patient, attentive listening while also embracing passionate truth-telling. Discovered in stillness. Modulate intensity by welcoming calming influences that temper extremes. Seek balance between gravity and lightness. Caution and Kureg stimulation and peaceful order maintain rhythms aligned to creation cycles of activity and rest. May you thrive in both active investment and silent reception. For first consecrate set art times to know me intimately, then with tank refueled. Pour yourself into purposeful labor equipped through our connection. May my pleasures so fill you that weariness gives way to soul overflowing and perfect rest in my presence. Thus you walk wisely with me moment by moment through life's variety. Give yourself to fruitful effort, governed by sacred intervals set apart to commune with me from this place of wise awe and full spiritual nourishment. What you vigorously pour out into each calling will sweetly bless multitudes for my glory. My child, be still before me. Silence your restless mind and know that I am God. I am ever present, though at times I may seem far away. Trust in my abiding love. For it surrounds you, though you perceive it not. Let me fill your quiet spaces with comfort in the hush of your soul. Listen for my voice. It comes as a gentle whisper to calm your fears and guide your steps. Do not despise the silence, for it is here I meet you and lavish my grace upon you. Seasons will come when sorrows or trials plunge you into unwelcome quiet. I know the silence born of sadness weighs heavy on tender hearts. Take hope, beloved, for I see your tears, and I am acquainted with grief in due time. I will transform ashes into crowns of beauty. Take comfort. Not all tears are bitter. Some fall with joy when my loving kindness surprises you. My compassion springs forth to water barren souls. Though you walk through valleys blanketed in stillness, you need not fear evil. My rod and staff protect you in seasons of darkness. Cling to me, trust the light still shines through your eyes. Perceive only gloom, courage, my child. The quiet nights of weeping always give way to joyful dawn. Stillness cultivates soil for growth. Have I not said, consider the lies how they grow? The silence makes room for their unfolding, so too for you, my beloved, times of quiet nurture character. Faith, strength for the journey ahead. Do not resent the waiting. Seasons instead, let patience bloom. The vine must be pruned to yield the harvest. Allow my loving hands to shape you in the shadows where no one sees. One day, you will emerge transformed by grace, refined in those silent crucibles of the soul. You will shine all the brighter for being formed in stillness. Has not my spirit hovered over darkened chaos and brought forth light order? Life, trust the one who calmed the raging seas with a word. I harness the wind and waves, they obey my voice. Rest under the shelter of the Most High. When storms surround you, let my perfect peace rule your heart so fear finds no toehold. Though thunder roars, you may lie down and sleep confident in my sovereignty over nature and nations alike. No power thwarts my purposes. Be still in the raging storm and see my deliverance. Take rest, refuge in me amid tumult, without and within. When clamoring voices drown reason, flee to the quiet sanctuary. Shut out the distractions and center your mind on things above. Redirect your focus to truth that aligns your perspective. Reclaim control over chaotic thought patterns. Quiet the inner tempest, not by brute force but through trust in my abiding presence. As you release anxious striving, my spirit brings order. Direction, mental clarity. You gain the higher view that sees all things working toward redemption's purpose. Cultivate wisdom's fruit in tranquil seasons. Retreat into stillness for contemplation. Withdraw from ceaseless activity, lest it rule. You create space for reflection. Revelation as you ponder my word. Understand my ways. Develop discernment. Grow insight. Nurture empathy to guide compassionate action in silence. Recalibrate your inner compass. Realign priorities with eternal perspective. Balance contemplation with service. Else you drift into inertia. Let seasons of solitude prepare you for love, displayed with meditation. Comes motivation for selfless giving. My spirit will direct your steps. Open doors to bless broken humanity. You need not chart the course. Simply make yourself available to needs around you. Opportunities for kindness will find you dear. One silence guards the heart and mind from enemy encroachment. Refuse to entertain accusations, condemning whispers, rebuke cruel lies, replace them with my living truth. Wield my words in warfare against falsehood. Quench flaming arrows with my sure promises. What I have declared no foe can counter. Stand confident on this unshakable ground. Victory is assured, nevertheless. Beloved, exercise discernment regarding revelations not yet fulfilled. Measure your speech until appointed times. There are mysteries known only in divine counsel, glories concealed until preparation completes. Trust my judgment regarding their unveiling. I see the conditions surrounding reception contain revelations that require maturity, lest they breed confusion, disillusionment when disconnected from context. A wise mentor paces instruction according to the student's capacity. So too I modulate disclosure, protect tender shoots from harsh exposure. My knowledge given prematurely overloads eager souls, thus breeds cynicism rather than awe. Trust my timing. Beloved, I will uncover hidden wisdom as you grow able to steward revelations. Faithfully, our covenant relationship deepens in the waiting. Take joy in depending on me for understanding locked away from human eyes, lacking the holy key rest in truth already illuminated. For the journey ahead, sufficient light shines on the next step. Renew your mind not with mysteries reserved for later times, but with present provision to nourish your spirit this day. My child, let reverent silence now open wide a holy space for awe and wonder in my presence. Restraint guards the sacred preserves reverence toward. Revelation refuses rash speech regarding eternal matters. Human words cannot contain glories far too vast. Breathe humble awe, not glibness toward divine disclosure. Flippant familiarity breeds contempt for holy things, arrogantly assuming I am tamed and diminished. Silence reigns in the tongue's gallop, ushering holy fear at formidable realities transcending earthbound thought. Stillness calibrates a posture to receive my mysteries. Though heavens cannot contain me in mercy, I choose intimate fellowship with creatures born of dust. Do not trample this grace by kicking up the dust with hurry and entitlement. Rever what I reveal in voiceless places void of posturing where we meet, heart to heart. Listen, beloved, only listen to the echo of eternity resounding in silence here. Let awe overtake you in my sheltering wings, the wise prize quiet above. Opinions above clever words that clamor for attention out of their stillness extends invitation into the unknown, and life untouched, yet by mortal hands. Oh, draw near, beloved, draw near in the silence. Lay aside the insatiable demands that perpetually sap strength, and scatter focus cease striving fruitlessly to satisfy this age's end. Appetites you were fashioned for sacred seasons of stillness, with me as well as strategic sending into purpose. Therefore steward time and energy, judiciously aligning action to replenishment that maintains resilience. Enduring storms, avoid extremes, either isolated inwardly or so outwardly preoccupied. You disconnect from my empowering presence instead, cycles seamlessly between quiet communion and passionate participation. Each renewing the other, here you walk the narrow way into abundant life. Your Maker intends, listen for my gentle whispers. Through simple silence that grounds conviction, builds character, and informs wise action. Avoid reactionary paths, popularity promotes detour. Sensational roads lined with empty promises and perilous byways paved by fearmongers shouting. Loudest, their panic incites hasty decisions. Devoid of faith, almost always ending in confusion or harm. Unplug accordingly from the barrage of opinions and breakdowns presented as facts, filter input and halt assumptions. Then apart from the den, meet me in stillness for context and wisdom that penetrates polarizing smog with clear vision bathed in mercy and truth. Here anchored perspective overrides distorted narratives from quiet. Clarity, speak gently with courage, create thoughtfully with conscience, and led patiently, fueled by hope in silence. Rediscover foundational definitions around being, belonging, and purpose. You exist as my cherished creation, designed intentionally to reveal my nature, never accidental byproduct of random processes. Your essence was secured in my foreknowledge before the dawning of the first light in the cosmos. Every moment since was authored in my book, guiding you along paths toward fulfilling. Redemptive call your life unfolds equipped supernaturally. Shouldered by grace sufficient through tests, my strength infuses your frailty. So never fear falling short. Your highest aim is simply being my child. Not great accomplishments, heaping possessions, or accolades, for true meaning dwells in relationship. Not things achieved or staged performances for others. Approval, your identity is permanently anchored. In me, you belong through my blood. Before exhibiting any merit out of grateful intimacy, serve family and strangers alike with kindness, expecting no gain here. Joy overflows, thus still your weary soul to remember foundations, stabilizing faith. What voices dominate inner spaces, coloring perception on what footings are constructed. Cornerstone convictions determining reactions. When pressure mounts, return regularly to silent places of prayer and scriptural counsel, establishing beliefs, values, and priorities aligned to my kingdom's ethic. 10. This root system sunk deep into my ways and words, nourished by my spirit. Then character will stand, matured by revelation, wrapped in relationship. Not merely informing, but transforming heart and mind. Avoid despair over darkness, eclipsing land through fear, propaganda, and unjust laws. Slowly normalizing the unacceptable, the darkest night still gives way to dawn. My child, balance cries of injustice with praise for my grace, rising to answer suffering's pleas. Train your vision to recognize glimmers of promise amid despair, blessing woven into sorrow's tapestry. Look beyond current setbacks. I am moving to remove barriers impeding equity's arrival. Standing on faith's firm ground, take heart from my justice perfected over history's long travail. I bring life from death, joy from grief, and healing to every ill, goodness from evil's intention. Trust my relentless love, pursuing creation's highest welfare, though surrounding disasters. Herald the apocalypse, remain anchored in my unshakable promises. Extremity signals culmination in the storms. I regain strength just for championing gentle justice, by tearing down dividing walls with words of solidarity for outcasts. But first, bow low, swallowing prideful ignorance that dismissal fed indifference, enabling exploitation. Lament cold attitudes, normalizing systems that devalue. Weep for dynamics, perpetuating suffering from unthinkable cruelty. Between times of friction and outspoken action, meet with me in stillness to nurture empathy that listens before responding, that grasps nuance before demanding rigid conformity. My love liberates without crushing lost souls and constructs, bridges enabling former enemies to show mercy. It fuels steadfast endurance to welcome redemption's down. Protect this fiery love of flame in your belly from arrogance, fan tender flames of humility and kindness, until old oppression bows to soul. Solidarity and equity kisses those once shunned, at last seen as kin. My child, as you tread through the realms of a world scarred by the remnants of inhumanity, let a revolution burgeon within you, a revolution that calls you to introspect and challenge your own beliefs and biases. It's time to quell the instinct to cast judgment upon those who appear different without understanding their tales or experiencing their journeys. Seek to cultivate a deeper integrity within yourself before you demand it of the world in your quest for fairness. Clean say your vision of the privilege that brings comfort at the expenses of others. Mourn the apathy and ignorance that have become bedrocks of oppressive systems. Yet remember, it is only through divine grace that true transformation is possible. Where prejudice has clouded your view, allow my divine intervention to clear your vision. Paving the way for a healing that is whole and complete, offer your relationships to the light of my redemption. In your journey towards understanding, venture into realms that may seem uncomfortable. It is in these spaces that trust is built and advocacy for the vulnerable is forged. Empathy, when joined with action, becomes a powerful force for justice. Long denied, lend an ear to the stories laden with pain. Yearning for a respectful audience, create spaces where sorrow can coexist with celebration, where dignity is restored to those from whom it was stolen. Embrace experiences diverse from your own to refine your perspective. Moving beyond stereotypes, promote media and language that uplifts, that sees the diversity of identity and background with humanity and respect, forsake the path of exploitation, and embrace the journey towards equitable growth. For all reimagine the social structures and decrees that destruct the ascent of the less fortunate. Cultivate personal habits that elevate the downtrodden and valiantly oppose any dominion that elevates one faction above another. Dismantle and reconstruct the very foundations that have perpetuated disparity. Close not thine eyes to the inequalities that pervade, but rather venture into realms. Unlike thine own, strive to comprehend the unique tribulations faced by diverse peoples. Discover unity beneath the superficial divides and foster hope in this realm. Empathy and urgency converge to spawn intercession, advocacy, and reconciliation. As you step away from the false comforts of complacency, new horizons. Emerge a revelation that revolutionizes perspectives once limited by the blindness of privilege. What was once deemed reasonable now gives way to a mindset transformed, a conscience awakened. Refusing to tolerate the grave imbalance and inequality among my beloved children, a divine discontent stirs within you. Spurred by my spirit's grief and a heart of passion, holy impatience bridges the gap between words and actions, compelling true faith to manifest in deeds, grounded in prayer and integrity. Thus, you become the embodiment of heavenly ideals here on earth. You will write new laws of equity, ensure the marginalized have a seat at decision-making tables, and begin the cultural course correction. Today you stand at a crossroads. Will you choose the comfort of silence, which implicitly permits injustice, or the path of courageous truth-telling despite the opposition? It may invite, will you conform or realign radically to avoid? So I'll cherish every moment, every day, for your love is my path, and everywhere in the touch of your hand I find the strength to rise and stand through every trial, every tear. We've shed your love, spin the shelter, where I find my your love spin, Maya nor, life stormy, sea beacon a hole. I need to be free, so I'll cherish every moment, every day, for your love. I spit my back in every way with gratitude in my soul. I'll sing this song for the love we share, every stast and strong. The metaphorical rocks, you must leave behind the familiar raft amidst life's rapids, yet greater life awaits. Beyond these turbulent passages, what loss can compare to the gain of walking alongside the vulnerable towards justice long denied? Embark boldly, beyond barriers, aligning with the right side of history, yet in your endeavors, anchor yourself in humility. Let your actions be driven, not by pride, but by love. Within approach your tasks, not with bombast, but with solemnity and care. Not ego, but intimacy with me should fuel each stride. Not slogans, but embedded truth should frame each act. Not the blare of Gabriel's horn, but the gentle guidance of my staff should accompany you as you journey from still waters into the fray level. The uneven grounds, freeing captives to walk unburdened with heads held high, gradually dismantled. Dividing walls to expand the family circle once tightly guarded here. My kingdom is realized, fortified by prayer and sound perspective. Live activated in radical hope. Reject despair and learned helplessness. Despite the groans of a world in the throes of rebirth, resist resignation or distraction. Feel the full weight of suffering and respond, responsibly in line with your conscience and calling. Stay balanced, not sway to extremes of inaction or arrogance. As the scale of crisis compels, remain grounded in the reality. Each moment presents, promote justice through daily responsible choices and radical faith in a victory already secured. Despite the evidence. To the contrary, keep despair at bay with tenacious hope in me. Amidst chaos, stay centered on my loving righteousness, which inexorably rolls over severe injustice to restore equity when weariness sets in from the struggle. Find recovery in our quiet sanctuary, away from the clamor, then re-enter the arena, refreshed for the next strategic acts of resistance. Revelation and reconciliation. In this, the darkness will yield to the dawning light as you journey through time with me. Let each moment be a crucible transforming understanding into a force that shapes the world daily. You encounter chances for merciful deeds or moments to share in another's grief, radiating a soul presence. It is vital to discern when silence is a form of assent, and when it perpetuates harm, your voice has the power to initiate dialogues of healing or to bridge the chasms that divide. In this find the courage to rise above the complacent, to speak truths that awaken and challenge in your own life, confront the privileges that have clouded your vision of others, struggles, repent for the indifference that has blinded you to the extraordinary resilience of those oppressed. It's time to abandon the unearned comforts built on systems of injustice. Step bravely into understanding and empathy. Recognize and celebrate the diverse paths and identities that find their origin in me. Music. 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 Music work towards dismantling hierarchies that hoard influence and resources, and strive to empower those who have been silenced. This is the genesis of a justice that the prophets foretold. My spirit will guide you to truth. If you are willing to let go of your preconceptions, your efforts must be attuned to the realities of both the oppressed and your adversaries to find common ground. Stand firm in your convictions, but resist the temptation to polarize. True peacemakers balance firmness with openness, conviction with understanding. They challenge wrongdoing while holding on to the hope of redemption. For all, remember, every person, no matter their actions, bears my image and is worthy of dignity in moments of stillness. Truths about the world's turmoil come into focus. In these quiet spaces, you can find strategies that honor regularly. Retreat into contemplation, where your frustrations and challenges can be met with faith and intuition. Let these moments of quiet surpass mere intellectual reasoning, sparking insights resilient against societal currents. Be thoughtful in assessing when to act and when to stand in opposition. Hold a deep concern for the vulnerable and aspire to transform enemies into allies for the greater good. In this, my creation is continually renewed. In this intertwining of growth and commitment, real change is birthed, bringing order from chaos. Thus, in this grand unfolding, your actions and inactions both play pivotal roles. From bold declarations to silent reflective waiting, each contributes to a revolution of hope and transformation. Amen.